Welcome to New Broker, the podcast dedicated to providing insights and inspiration for building a new broking business.
Hello and welcome back to New Broker. I'm your host for today, Annie Kane. And today we've got a double whammy for you in that we have not just one, but two guests joining us in the studio. Now, you may be aware that the advisor's just about to launch the New Broker Academy 2026 one in partnership with Bendigo Bank Broker. And this year we're coming along to 3 different states, starting in Queensland, then going to Victoria and New South Wales. And this year we are bringing back a broker who actually met us at New Broker Academy way back when, almost 10 years ago. And since then, his career has really taken off, so much so that you may well already know his name. Joining me today is Bernard Desmond from Blank Financial, as we're talking about his career from new broker to elite broker, what the next phase of Blank Financial looks like, and how he's supporting new brokers. Also joining me today is a new broker in the form of Rex Francis, a mortgage broker at Blank Financial. And we're going to be talking about their relationship, we're going to be talking about their working relationship, what sort of things they've got planned together, and what we have to look forward to from Blank coming up. So Bernard, firstly, thank you so much for joining me in the studio. How are you going?
Thanks, Annie. Great to be here. It's such a privilege to be back in the studio after 9 years.
9 years, almost 10. I thought that. I was like, it's probably not quite 10, 9. There we go. And bringing with you Rex Francis as well, one of the newbie Blank Financial brokers. And we're looking forward to talking to you, Rex, about your career too.
Absolutely. Thanks, Annie, for having me here. It's a privilege to be here again in the studio.
Yes. And you've come up from Victoria, which we massively appreciate. And you'll be coming around the country with us starting this week in Queensland for New Broker Academy 2026. And this is an event that really is, I think, means something special for you and I, Bernard, because we actually met there for the first time way back when. Can you remember that meeting?
I still remember it very clearly, and I still have that picture which we took on the first meeting.
Yeah, you tagged me in it recently on LinkedIn, and I was a bit like, oh, goodness, the time has not been kind to me. But you look exactly the same.
No, it's been a great journey. 9 years in this industry. It's given me so much. It's literally transformed the future of my family, and that's what really we're going to do for the brokers that are partnering with us. Over the last 9 years, I've learned a lot, and we can really fast track that journey for the people that are going to partner with Blank in the years ahead.
Now, so this is something that we're going to be talking about today, and also, of course, at the New Broker Academy this year as well, which you're speaking at, is really looking at, well, how do new brokers set up and hit the ground running? And I think for so many people who come into the industry, whether it's from the finance industry or from outside of industry, it's so hard to kind of know where to start, to set up a business, to get the leads, to talk about marketing, to do all the things you need to do to get a successful career pathway. And this is why we know, anecdotally, we hear that about 1 in 2 brokers don't make it through their past 18 months, because I think so many people will go, this is a lot harder than I thought it was going to be. I'm not making as money as quickly as I would like to, because obviously it takes a while for you to get your first commissions through. And then also being like, I just don't know where to get leads from. So there's a lot of things you have to be thinking about. And so increasingly, I think we're seeing lots of brokers decide to join an existing brokerage. And this is where you're coming into the fore now and bringing new brokers in under you. But for anyone who doesn't yet know who Blank Financial is or doesn't know who you are, Bernard, so you've been broking for 9 years, based down in Victoria in Mount Eliza.
Yes.
So I said that and then panicked.
That's right.
Yeah. Based down in Victoria in Mount Eliza, and really specializing in resi loans, but you do a bit of everything, right?
Predominantly, 95% of the business is residential, but we do dabble into, servicing our clients who have a commercial need or asset need.
Yeah. And it has been you and your wife Lavinia for most of this time. What was the impetus for being like, maybe I'm going to start bringing on other brokers?
Look, it's been a conscious decision. It's not happened overnight. I'm really clear about what I want to provide as an offering to new brokers. Everything that I'm going to be providing to new brokers is what I was looking for in my early days. It just wasn't there. So, we've mastered that over the last 9 years, and we know clearly the brand proposition that Blank is going to be providing. And, this industry can be really rewarding if you do the hard work and you create really good outcomes for your customers. It is a people business. The broking industry will reward you. It does not. You can come from any walk of life, and if you do the work, you've seen that with my own journey. I've been here only for 9 years, and it's literally changed the future of my family and my business. So, what Blank is going to be doing for our brokers like Rex, who are partnering with us, is we're going to stand behind them, provide them with the support. And when I say support, it's not just, leads, it's also operational support, credit assessment support, loan processing support, settlement support. Because if a new person starting in this industry, you're doing all of it, and it can get quite lonely, and especially when you're dealing with many lenders and BDMs, and you have to learn the skill sets. So it can be quite daunting. But if you're standing besides an established brand that has got the resources and the skill sets and the support to you, you don't have to be lonely in business. You can be really successful if you do it with the right support.
Now, you've talked about success here, and I mentioned you as an elite broker, and we've talked about your own personal journey in the past. So we'll put those in the show notes for anyone who wants to go and hear about your journey into broking and how you got to where you are. But walk me through, what sort of volumes do you reckon you write now? How many loans do you reckon you write a year?
120 mil a year in volumes settled loans. And I've been doing that consistently for a number of years now.
Yeah. So, most brokers will be like, well, how did you do it? So this is, I guess, what you're going to be helping teach brokers at Blank Financial.
Yeah. At Blank, the broker's role is going to be all about prospecting loans. We don't want our brokers to be processing loans. And that's where a lot of brokers go wrong, because they're sitting and doing, all the stuff that is important to settle a loan, but it's not the best use of a broker's time. So, if you're a new broker and you're, doing apply online and discharges and pricing and, scenarios, it's probably not the best use of your time as a broker, as a business owner. Your job really should be getting in front of more people and bringing those opportunities in. And now at Blank, we've got the resources to package that and service you. So you're just really delighting your customers and looking after their, so that they get a greater experience.
Yeah. So this is a brand new proposition for Blank. You've not done this before. And is Rex your first broker to come under you?
No, I have got Nimisha, who's recently come on board with us. So we're seeing a great demand with even existing brokers who are 6 years, 5 years, 9 years in business. They're finding it hard to do it all themselves. So Nimisha's come on board. We've got another broker who's 9 years in the business coming on board. I've got Jose, who's with 6 years in experience. Rex is my first new broker. So he's my first new mentee, and I'm really excited about what we're going to do together. I've known Rex for a greater part of 35 years. We went to school together. So we've got a history there.
Okay.
Our families know each other. And I've known Rex. I still remember when I moved to Australia in 2012, I reached out to Rex and I said, how can I get a job? Because he was here before me. So really excited for what we can do together.
And now you're working together again, back from school to broking. And Rex, for you, what was the attraction for becoming a broker? Why did you decide to join Bernard?
Well, if I had to do broking, it would be just Bernard and nobody else. It's just Blank. Again, goes back to the number of years I've known him, the trust, the integrity, the relationship we have as a family. Bernard, me, went to the same school. His wife, my wife, went to the same school. We grew up together in the same area. So, and I've seen him from ground up. I've seen his journey, and I follow his journey from day one. And he's brought this platform, which is completely revolutionizing. It is so different. I speak to brokers every day in my line of work in real estate, and the challenges they have to go through in the back end, the processing of loans. What Bernard has set up is completely seamless. I've spoken to the credit managers. I've seen his team. They are outstanding, proactive. They get things done. And this is exactly what I need. I am good in talking to people. I am good to put myself out there. I cannot sit idle. I go out. I speak to people. I sell. And that's what I wanted to focus on. And this was such a good collaboration and work, especially with someone for so many years. And that's it. That's why the Blank thing.
So Rex, were you in real estate, did you say before? What were you doing before you became a broker?
I'll go back. I came here to Australia in 2005. I was 21 years old, 21 years ago. I studied. I did my accounting degree. started doing my CPA. Then I worked in finance and accounting for almost 16 years. And when I say finance and accounting, I was not the bean counting accountant. I was the bean growing accountant. In other words, financial planning and analysis, forecasting, budgeting, where the business is heading. A lot of business partnering was required. And that's where I realized I need this change. I need to go out and try sales. And that's when 2.5 years ago, I went to real estate. And I started selling home and land packages across Australia. And finance is the integral part of anything you do in real estate, broking. And then I moved to broking because, again, finance is the integral part. I want to connect back to the finance and accounting side of what I wanted to do. And this opportunity with Blank has come up, and we've been talking for it for almost a year. So just that it just fell in place and started.
So, I mean, talking for a year, what was it that kind of was like, the perfect timing, the perfect moment? Like, what was it, the trigger that made you jump and take the leap?
Yes, see, I wanted to have a good 2 years at least in real estate, so I can deliver and understand sales completely, because before I was more in service industry, and 2 years is a good time to understand the sales, and it was time now that I get into broking. It's a rewarding industry. There's a lot of growth if you do it consistently. And similar in real estate, when I'm selling home and land packages, that's one of the difficult sales in the whole real estate industry. I'm not selling something which is existing. It's a dream, and I sell it with education and data. I never have sold a single product. I've just given a product. I have spoken to my clients about the product, which is why to buy this. What's the why behind the decision making, and that's what has helped me to take that across the line and be successful in there. And again, I want to connect back to the finance roots, and hence broking is one of the best where I can work in finance, help my clients understanding the why behind the decisions, and consistently perform and do this.
Yeah. And so, Bernard, for you, when you were looking at, bringing Rex on, when you kind of say, he's a first new to industry broker, you hadn't had anyone else coming out from outside of finance to join you. Yep. What were the kind of big things that you were like, this is what I really need you to do? Like, what were you kind of seeing in him and what were you wanting him to get out there and do?
Look, the runs were already on the board with Rex, because over the last couple of years, he's been referring me business. From his, customers coming to him to buy a product or service of his. And, if finance is required, he's been sending it across our way. So I was able to showcase to him, hey, you can do this, And I could see he's got the energy, he's got the passion, and he can deliver long-term education to clients, So it's really important for me that, I can stand with my brand behind someone who's got the same values. I've known him for many years, so the trust equation is already there. Over the last couple of years, he's been delivering outcomes in a completely new industry in the last 2.5 years that he's delivered in real estate. And I think with mortgages, it's much more easier to service mortgage customers, because anyone vertical and breathing needs a home loan.
So you kind of now have this little pipeline of brokers behind you. What does it look like? Is it kind of, a commission model? Is it a salary model? Like, how do you actually bring them into the Blank family?
So for most of our existing brokers who are already established brokers, it is a commission model where they don't have the overheads of managing staff and, having them on payrolls and branding. So we're doing all of that for them, and it's a comp split model.
Yeah.
For our new brokers, we've got two options. They can go on a commission model, but I know I've been a new broker, so I know what the challenges are in your first couple of years in broking. So we've got a retainer model. I want them to have skin in the game. I'll stand behind them and support them the first 6 months, 12 months if they need cash flow. But they need to have skin in the game. It's not a salaried model that I've got. It's a retainer model where, it's a comp split. Still, but it's a credit debit.
And then how does it work with the support? Because you were saying about, you want your brokers to kind of be like out there and talking to the clients and doing client-facing work and not so much of the admin. So who's doing all this work behind the scenes?
Yeah, so we've got 3 different departments that function behind making a broker really successful and writing volumes. So the first part is credit, which is we've got really skilled credit managers who understand, who they're like para brokers. They're just not salespeople, but they understand what a bank is looking at and how a loan can be packaged in the best way so we can get one-touch approvals. That's one part. Then we've got loan processing, which is, everything to support the credit manager. So the loan processing department does all of your apply online submissions, signatures, discharges, pricing, valuations, everything that's required to move the file through. And then after the file's getting formally approved, then we've got settlements, so someone onshore then takes over that, and Lavinia leads that team. So, they basically hold the client and make sure that, the client is still getting the same amount of care and love throughout the process. And it's not like, now the job is done and we've forgotten about them, so they look after that from the formal approval right up to settlement, and then make sure that the clients are reviewed every 6 months.
Yeah. So really taking a lot of that kind of whole process out for them so that they can just focus on the client. Now, you said earlier on that this is kind of built off the back of what you've learned over your career. So, how long did it take before you were like, this is the structure and the process and the team that I'm happy with, having these different teams doing different things?
Look, it's been a trial and error process over the last 7-8 years. I've had a lot of staff come and go, and I've learned a lot in that time frame. But I think, I'm 44 this year. And I really want to build a legacy and a brand, and I think I've walked the path myself, and I'm looking forward to really giving back to the next generation of brokers coming in, so really, if they've got the attitude, we'll teach them the skill set, if they can present well, we'll show them how it's done, So we've got all the resources to stand beside them, so they're not alone. They can still build something really of real value, which is a business for themselves, but they don't have to do it alone.
And is it all for people in Victoria? Is it nationwide? Like, where are you kind of targeting people?
So Rex is our first broker in Sydney. The other 4 brokers are Victorian at the moment. We're talking to a couple of brokers in Queensland and Adelaide. All of our support staff, all of our onshore support staff, everything customer facing is onshore. Everything loan processing is offshore. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And you were talking about as well, kind of like having trial and error. And I think this is what so many people do when they come into the broking industry is you don't know until you've tried it, really, and then sort of see if what works for you, and making and finding the right people can take a while. For you, when you looked at, the last 9 years and how you kind of grew your business, so starting from a brand new brokerage to today, like what were some of the big milestones for you? Like for anyone who's a new broker just starting out on their journey, like what sort of things did you do that really helped transform your business?
I think prospecting. Like I say prospecting is like oxygen to any mortgage broker. If you as a mortgage broker can, keep getting in front of more people, and I've always been someone who has worked with relationships, so I'm not going behind the end consumer directly, but if I can go to a real estate agent who can give me a lot of customers, that's been my strategy, and that's worked for me. The O'Brien partnership has been a great win for us. It looks like an overnight success, but it's been 9 years in the making. And that's that formula we're looking at now replicating in different markets, whether it's Sydney, Adelaide, Queensland, because the formula's there now.
And this is what you are talking about a new broker this year, is really how do you create strong referral partnerships? Because I think so many new brokers when they start out go, I would love to have a financial planner, an accountant, and a real estate agent, and have that kind of, real trifecta of referral partners to talk to, but I don't know how to get started. So your session this year is really delving into how you've done that with O'Brien, because that's a major real estate company in Victoria. So walk me through what you think is the signs of a successful referral partnership when it comes to real estate agents. And then Rex, I'll ask you that question too, seeing as you've done both.
Yeah. So with real estate agents, they're a different breed. They are really, they've got a customer base that wants to transact right now. So I think speed to service has been really critical even to this day. So if I'm assisting a client who's doing a loan through us, in every transaction, there is a real estate agent involved, So it's a great opportunity for any broker to pick up the phone, and deliver really good value without asking for referrals. So show them what you can do, and make sure that you show the real estate agent that, their sale is protected, and you're going to do everything in your capacity for that subject to finance deal to go through to settlement. You know? And if you continuously do that over a period of time, you build credibility with real estate agents, and if they've got a problem, they'll remember and they'll start referring you people, because you've just suddenly not asked them for business, but you've secured their sales commission by protecting this transaction that was subject to finance. And if it is not going through, you have to keep the agent informed and quickly pivot and find a solution for them.
Yeah. And Rex, when you were working in real estate, was there anything that you were like, I really want my referral partners or my brokers I'm working with to do X, Y, and Z?
Absolutely. I worked with a lot of mortgage brokers, and again, speed and convenience is an integral part of getting things moving, because I've got that client for some time. They need to make sure their finances are taken care of. And I've lost deals where the broker didn't take them on board because it's a complex deal. It's in multiple companies or trust accounts or an SMSF deal, and there is a lot of competition in the market. And if you don't have that speed and convenience of doing business, it fails. And again, that's the major win for Blank Financials, because the whole well-oiled machinery which is got at the back end is there for my support. And it's a no-brainer. It's going to be a winning year.
Yeah. So even though you kind of are new and still learning, you can be like, well, at least I've got people behind me who have done this day in, day out, and they already know what they're doing. So I can be quick, even though I'm still learning.
Yes, absolutely. And I've got Bernard as my mentor, and he's available any time of the day. I'll call him at 6 p.m. He'll finish his meeting, he'll finish his dinner, and he'll still call me at 11 o'clock. He'll make sure he'll close that the same day. And learning from somebody like Bernard and replicating what he's done, and especially being a friend, he shares with me his journey in depth. This is exactly what I want to do. And success is just showing up every day, consistency, and being out there and just talking to a lot of people.
So you're a few months into your broking career now.
Yes.
What have sort of loans you've been working on? Have they been like SMSF, like hairy ones, like with lots of multiple companies? Are you just focusing on first home buyers? Like what kind of loans are you writing?
I'll be focusing more on resi loans, refinance, but I'll take anything that comes my way in my first year. I've done a couple where it's a complex refinance, multiple companies, a lot of debt. The client was rejected by 2 mortgage brokers, and he came to me. Bernard sat with me in that conversation. I heard him talk and close that, and it is just that I'm ready to do anything, whatever it takes, whatever loan it is. It's 100,000 or it's $5 million. I'll take it.
Yeah. Well, hopefully it's the 5 million. Yeah.
It is, yes.
And then when you look at the kind of things that you're learning along the way, I'm always curious to sort of ask new brokers, like, what is the hardest thing about being a new broker? Like, what's the toughest thing to get your head around?
The most toughest part of working in broking is doing it all together by yourself. Again, as Bernard said, it makes you lonely at times. But again, with Blank, we have this well-oiled machinery at the back, and there is so much support. I've got the right mentor. I'm replicating what Bernard has done. I've joined Mr. Mentor as a course. I've done my course through FASTA, which is face-to-face, and one of the only face-to-face course for mortgage broking in the country was amazing. So I've just followed what Bernard has told me to do, got things done, and there is a great support in the back end. That's all I need.
He's got no problems. That's a good job there, Bernard. He's like, I don't have any problems. What are you talking about? When you're bringing on a new broker, is there any particular thing that you're looking at? Are you saying, like, I only need one commercial broker, one asset finance broker, one resi broker? Are you kind of just saying it has to be a good cultural fit? Do they have to have gone to school with you? What is the requirements for someone to become a broker?
They can't have all been going to school with me. But what we're looking at Blank is a very aspirational, ambitious brand. and that's what we're looking at in the people that want to partner with us. We want to know what their aspirations are, what they want to create for their family. I want to know more, like, why broking, what is it that you want to do, and what are you prepared to do to achieve it. So it's values, it's attitude, it's how they carry themselves, and what they've done in the past. The skill set can be taught, Annie. It's not hard. Broking and in lending, can be taught, but I can't teach someone how to treat people. Like, I can't teach someone customer service one-on-one, that, if they say something, they have to deliver on it, and that's old school service we see is just missing these days, and customers are really looking that for in brokers, and that's what we want to do for our brokers.
And I think increasingly that customer service is going to be the real thing that people turn to brokers for, because, we can use technology, we can use AI nowadays to get anything done remotely. But when it comes to the nitty gritty and the complex, we want to be talking to someone face to face, and you need to have good customer service skills. And I think increasingly people are forgetting how to talk to people or how to pick up a phone. Lots of, the younger generation, their phone rings, they're terrified.
That's it.
So it's kind of a bit like, well, having those skill sets of being comfortable talking to the phone, talking face to face, going and visiting people, and providing, support in quite stressful situations, so important, really valuable skill set for brokers to have. When it comes to actually then sort of getting the deal done from beginning to end, Bernard, do you have the same process for every broker, or is it kind of they can pick and choose how they do it?
No, it's the same process. They'll do it the blank way.
Yeah.
We have refined it over the years, and we're fine-tuning it every single day. So the sales process is the same. The onboarding is the same. The way they present to the client a solution is the same, So when a customer comes to blank, it is going to be a uniform experience, So it's not similar to, big brands like McDonald's. You go to any McDonald's, you get the same experience, and that's what we want our brokers to experience. We want them to have we want them to be confident. So when they present to the customers, they can give because the customer's relying on you as a broker to get confidence, because they've never done this before. As a, if they're buying their first home or their, second home, they want your broker to give you confidence that, the broker's going to do whatever it takes to get the job done, and even with the real estate agents, that's what they're looking for. They want someone, hey, if I put a deal together, that deal is not going through unconditional till the finance is sorted, so you want to be that broker that can solve the problems for your agents and your customers.
Yep. So when it comes to actually then what you're wanting your brokers to do, are you kind of saying, you have to be making this much money or doing this many deals, or are you kind of being like, there's a real kind of flow-on effect of where you're going and what your milestones are?
Yeah, look, average productivity for our new brokers, we're expecting them to do at least 30 million in the first year. So we're not going after someone who wants to, do 5 million and is happy with that. That's probably not the target audience for us. And that's what I see with Rex. I know that he's got the aspirations. He's got the skill set to, service those clients. And Sydney's a big market. I think it's really exciting for Blank to be partnering with Rex and, seeing what we can do over here.
Yeah. And so do they become like franchisees in effect? You were talking about McDonald's, obviously a franchise business.
It's a license model. So it's a brand license model that we've got with all our business partners.
And how many people do you expect to have in the Blank family?
Before the end of December 2026, I'll have 10 brokers up and running.
Okay.
We're already at the halfway mark.
Yeah.
We'll have 10. And by the end of December 2027, I'll probably crack the 30 mark.
Wow. Big goals being put out here, laying out for the future trajectory of the Blank.
I can already see it happening. I the same thing happened with New Broker when I started. I could see, and I know we're partnering with the right people is going to enable us to get there.
Yeah. And of course, so many people when they first start out as a new broker are like, well, I want to do everything. I want to learn everything and I need so much support. But increasingly, I think we're finding people go, it's actually very hard to do it on your own without having a mentor either nearby or at least, available on the phone so that you can talk to them day in, day out because it is quite difficult. Do you think it's possible to be a sole trader broker on your own?
Everything is possible with the right mindset. you can do whatever you put your mind to. So I wouldn't say it's not possible. I've done it. And I think it is possible even today for a new broker. But even when I started, Annie, if I reflect back, everyone told me because I came from banking. I was a lender before. And every person that I met said, you don't need a mentor, but I did get one. I had to raise in the first year because I'd never been a business owner.
Theresa Neal, yeah.
Yeah. So I worked very closely with her in the first 12 months. So I didn't have to make mistakes. I didn't have to do it at the expense of my clients. I had someone who was 10 plus years in the business, who had created great award-winning brokers before me. And that really allowed me to fast-track my career. And that's what we're going to do for all our brokers, new brokers such as Rex. He's got some ambitious goals. You should ask him what his goal is.
Well, I was just about to do that, so thank you. And what are your goals, Rex?
Well, Annie, Bernard with Blank has got the blueprint. And my goal is to achieve 50 million in loans the first year. Again, saying that I'm not going to be a transaction pusher. I want to take that time and learn during this year as well. But as Bernard said, everything is possible. He's got the blueprint. He's got the Blank family behind it. He's got the well-oiled machinery, which I refer to, behind it. And again, saying it's not going to be a transaction pusher thing because he's got that team, which is not a transaction pusher. It's an elite team working at the back end, and which will help me support and achieve the goal.
Now, we're talking about dollar values here, and obviously for listeners in other states and regional areas would be like 50 million. I wouldn't even be able to write that in 5 years because, the average loan size is so small. So we should obviously caveat that by saying the average loan size in Sydney is about 1.1 mil. And obviously in certain parts of Sydney, much, much, much higher.
Yes.
And other parts much lower. What sort of things are you going to be prioritizing then to make that target? Are you going to be just hanging out at yacht sale fairs and looking for the billionaires and being like, I just need one $20 million house, please? Yeah.
See, of course, there's a plan to it. If you slice the elephant, it's 52 weeks a year, million a week. It's not difficult. If you associate with the right people, you have a good mentor, you show up every day consistently, you get out there and talk to a lot of people, which I do anyway. It is achievable, and it's not a big goal.
Well, these are strong words, Bernard.
Yes.
Do you like the confidence there going on?
Yeah. And I'm all the way behind him for it. And I think, having, he's already done that with real estate. So I can really see him delivering that, and we'll hold him accountable.
Yeah. And so are you going to be, Rex, in a sort of, an office space where people can come to you? Are you going to open up a kind of shop front type office? Are you going to be working from home and going to people? How are you actually going to kind of have the Blank model in Sydney?
It's going to be a lean model. I have set up office at my house, and that's how I'm going to operate. So it's not going to be an office front, but definitely, I'll be going out there, weekend auctions, speaking with real estate, business partnering with a lot of people, speaking to financial planners, and try to business partner with them, see what is the need. Of course, I'm very active in the local church. I'll be spreading the word there. So it's just a small milestones which I need to achieve on a weekly basis. I can't do all at once because then suddenly I'll get 100 calls a week. Of course, I'll trial and error things out. I'll learn from my mentor, Bernard. I'll run past every week what I'm doing, and he's very strict with those plans. He definitely, when he says he'll hold me accountable, and I love it.
That's what you need.
That's it. That's all you need.
Yeah. If
Yes.
it's anything like I am when I'm left to my own devices, I'm like, I'll do it tomorrow. It's fine. You need
Yes.
someone to be like, no,
Yes.
do it now. Yeah.
Do it now, yes.
When, Bernard, you think about your new Blank brokers coming along
Yep.
and starting their careers, what are you most excited about for them?
I'm most excited about seeing how I can partner with new people and take them on a journey where they can create something really special for themselves and their families and secure their financial future. That is really that really gets me going. You don't have to do this for 20 years. You can do this in 5 to 7 years, and that's what I'm most excited about.
Yeah.
It's taking someone like Rex, completely brand new, showing him the way, and seeing that come to life. That's what excite me. Seeing our existing brokers who are 6 years, 9 years in business, them saying how they're enjoying and they're getting their mojo back because they're loving just doing the client stuff and interaction and, going out and, being really enjoying doing and not doing processing. That's exciting, yeah.
That's what I'm excited about. And Rex, how about you? What are you most excited about in your broking
See,
career?
I'm excited about taking charge of my career and taking it to a different level. And this opportunity is in itself exciting for me, where, I get to change people's lives. I get to help people solve real life problems and give financial solutions in terms of credit. And it's exciting for me. It's in my DNA, working in finance for all these years and combining real estate, finance and mortgage broking.
Yeah.
It's a win-win situation.
Very exciting. Now, of course, we've talked a lot about all this hard work that's going in, but what do you actually do to kind of shake off the day? Because I think a lot of the time when people are just starting out as a new broker, it can be very tempting to work extremely long hours and to really kind of work 7 days a week. But then at the end of the year, you're like, oh, I'm so exhausted. So it's important that we all take some time to look after ourselves. I'm always curious to know what you do to unwind and de-stress. And Bernard, I'm going to start with you. I know that you play tennis.
I love tennis. I play tennis every Monday. And again, I use that as a social experience to play with referral partners. So it's a more, business and, you get to know people on a different level when you're not talking just business, but, you know them on a personal level. So tennis, love going on holidays with my family. We've got 2 beautiful kids and Lavinia, my wife, married to her for 19 years now. So, we love going on family holidays and, yeah, that's what I do to de-stress.
Any nice holidays coming up?
We've got the Europe holiday coming up in October soon.
Exciting. Might see you there. And Rex, how about you? What do you kind of do to unwind and de-stress?
See, I've got 2 kids, 7 years and 11 years, 2 boys, playing with them. They love playing chess. And every evening they'll set up the table and they've never won so far. And I challenge them on a daily basis. I love playing chess as well. I like riding motorcycle. So I've got a motorcycle which when I'm very stressed, I just go for a ride, come back, and it just takes you to a different level. My wife is a great support. She's been with me, during my good times, bad times, and she's supported me a lot. So thanks to her, that plays a major role in de-stressing me as well. She looks after everything, which is in the back end, while I go out and, work in the front end. I love swimming. So I go 3 times a week for a swim. I take my boys with me, and that's it for now.
Yeah, I mean, that's a lot of hobbies. So good for you, staying in shape there as well. And I love that you're also staying your mind in shape as well, playing chess. I'm terrible at chess, so I will not challenge you to a duel. But yeah, I've been enjoying watching The Queen's Gambit on Netflix, and now I feel like I can play tennis because I watch that so much. Just in closing, gents, I wonder if I could ask you both for a piece of advice for any new brokers just starting out. And Bernard, seeing as you've been doing it a little bit longer, maybe you've got some more experience to draw on when it comes to succeeding in mortgage broking. What advice would you give a new broker just starting out?
Back yourself, go all in, and do it with good support around you.
Rex?
Again, same as Bernard, back yourself. And the most important part is do it consistently. Show up, create a different goal on a daily basis. If you reach that mountain, find a bigger mountain to climb. If you reach that bigger mountain, just make your goals bigger on a weekly basis, monthly basis. Consistently show up, consistently do the work, and the results will show.
Awesome. Well, we look forward, Bernard, to hearing from you at the New Broker Academy in more depth about how you built your business and solidified your referral partnerships. And if anyone hasn't yet registered for the event, it's completely free for brokers who are either in their first few years or people just thinking about becoming a broker. If you know someone who hasn't yet made the leap into broking and they're curious, get them to come along too. It's completely free. Coming to Queensland, Brisbane on the 28th of May, Melbourne, Victoria on the 5th of June, and Sydney, New South Wales on the 12th of June. And we'll be hearing from some amazing brokers. We'll be hearing from real estate agents. There'll be real estate agents actually in the room as well, because we have New Agent Academy going on alongside New Broker Academy for the first time this year. So if you haven't yet found a referral partner to set up with, what better place to come and find some? There'll be loads of agents there for you to chat to. All you need to do, register at newbrokeracademy.com.au and we'll hear from Bernard. Rex, will you be there? Will you come to the Sydney one?
Yes, Sydney one. Yes, absolutely.
Awesome. You can come and meet Bernard and Rex and see them IRL at the New Broker Academy 2026. Bernard, Rex, thank you so much for joining me and best of luck with the new Blank Financial licensing.
Thank you, Annie. It's been a pleasure and looking forward to doing the roadshow with the New Broker Academy.
Thank you.
Thanks, Annie. Thank you for having us.
If you've got any questions for me, Bernard or Rex, then do feel free to reach out. You can reach me at editor@theadvisor.com.au and Bernard obviously at Blank Financial if you want to find out more about what he's doing. And as I said, do make sure you register for New Broker Academy 2026 at newbrokeracademy.com.au, run in partnership with Bendigo Bank Broker. Otherwise, we'll catch you next time for another episode on the Advisor Podcast Network.